What's your partner's favorite food city?
Like Tokyo or Kyoto, or what'd you put?
Put Osaka, Japan.
All right, I mean, yeah,
feel...
any place in Japan, honestly. Hi, I'm Scott Tacinelli.
And I'm Angie Rito. We are chef partners at Don Angie in the West Village of New York City.
Today, we're going to be making tagliatelle and meatballs.
I think the meatballs themselves are pretty special because the recipe is an amalgamation of Scott's grandma and my grandma's recipes. So Scott and I met because
we bonded over our Italian-American heritage and background and upbringing.
I think just growing up in an Italian-American household, I don't know, it's like something that has kind of like defined me and my personality, and it's like something that I'm really just passionate about. We are going to mix our meatballs. This meatball recipe is very special. We're very proud of it because it's kind of like an amalgamation of our like family recipes. We use 2 types of meat, beef and veal. My grandma used to use pork as well in her mixture. Did your grandma?
No,
She
my
just did
grandma
beef,
only
right?
did beef. So we'll start with pecorino cheese. We use a decent amount of cheese.
Pecorino Toscano, onions that we basically just like processed in a food processor.
So we add garlic to our meatballs, but we cook the garlic first. And we like this because you don't end up with meatballs that have raw garlic in the milk.
So we're gonna add an egg. That's gonna help bind it. This here is a panade, which is basically we take like the inside of bread and then we use the middle part here. We soak it in milk and then Scott's just kind of wringing it out to get rid of any excess moisture. And then that's gonna like help bind the meatball, but also kind of add like, I don't know, some lightness to it, right? So here we have some fresh parsley.
So now we're just gonna roll, and honestly, you can roll any size you want. We like little meatballs for this.
So the little meatballs are something that Scott's grandma used to make. And I feel like, I don't know any like Italian American that wasn't like tasked by their grandma to roll meatballs.
Yeah.
Growing up, my grandma used to like just, you know, give my brother and I like a big bowl of meat mixture and we'd sit there and roll meatballs.
I used to like eating them right out of the frying pan before they even had sauce, and they were like really crispy and stuff. These we're gonna bake in the oven.
T-Mobile 5G home internet keeps everything simple with their fast speeds, 15-minute setup, and a budget-friendly price. So whether you're downloading new recipes or posting your latest creation, the connection never misses a beat.
In order to make our pasta, we use 3 different types of flour. Semolina, then we use durum, which is finely ground semolina, and 00. The reason why we use 3 different types of flour is it really helps with the texture and the flavor of the dough. So the first step is to put all the flour in the mixer. And as it's going, we're gonna use egg yolks and whole eggs. The first part is to just pour in the egg yolks slowly. Once the egg yolks get mixed in, it really won't look like dough yet. Then you're gonna add whole eggs, but you're gonna do it one by one.
Broadly speaking, classic spaghetti and meatballs is my favorite dish ever. I mean, Scott always makes jokes about how when we first started dating, I would come home at night and literally eat like a pound of spaghetti. True story. But for special occasions, my birthday, anniversaries, whatever, anytime Scott does cook me a special meal at home, it's always some version of spaghetti and meatball.
After mixing, this is what you're gonna end up with. At this point, you'll just wrap it with plastic wrap and let it sit on the counter for about 30 minutes to an hour.
What's your partner's favorite color?
I don't know if
I don't actually know your
Yeah, I
favorite
don't know either.
And Scott, what do you think?
Orange.
It's red.
My favorite color is red? Or your favorite color is red?
My favorite color is red.
I don't know, I put green.
What'd
you put?
What's your favorite color?
I said orange.
Oh, I put green.
You guys are a perfect match.
Okay, so after about 30 minutes to an hour, the pasta dough looks like this. I think the easiest way to use one of these hand crank pasta machines is to slice this into a thin slice, and then you can kind of press it and shape it with your hands first. This is my grandmother's pasta maker that she gave me. I don't think she used it very often because it's in such a nice pristine shape. We're gonna start with it opened, pass it through a few times, and then once we get it to the right shape, we will go down one by one till we get to the exact thickness that we're looking for.
So Scott and I met 18 years ago, working in a restaurant here in New York City. I had just moved here and I was actually working in the front of the house, so I was working like as a server. Scott had just graduated from culinary school as a line cook. I don't know, did you say it was like love at first sight?
It was for me, I don't think it was for you.
Scott, do you have any advice to our viewers out there, like how to escape the friend zone?
Just don't give up. That was the whole thing. I just didn't give up.
Persistence,
Yeah,
you know?
took her to another country and that was it. Okay, so I've gotten this to the desired thickness that I prefer. And what you want to do at this point is you kind of want to cut it into whatever length pasta you would like. These machines have a cutter section, And it has two different cutters. It has a very, very thin cutter, and almost like spaghetti cutter, and then it has a thicker, like fettuccine tagliatelle size. We're gonna do the thicker today. I'm just gonna pass it through. It is helpful to have another person on this part so you can have it come through all as one nice thing and you can hold it all together. And then we can keep it in a little nest like this until we're ready to cook it.
One of my best memories, like in my life, was when your parents came to Cleveland to celebrate the Feast of the Seven Fishes with my family, which is a tradition that my family does every year. My grandma would fit like 50 people into her basement at one big table, and we just like enjoy this really big meal together, and it was really special.
What's each other's guilty pleasure food?
Probably some sort of like Reuben from a diner.
Mine's definitely, anybody that knows me, a tuna melt.
Okay, so now we're going to be preparing our sauce. I'm starting here with guanciale, which is basically like cured pork jowl, chopped garlic. Just want to kind of cook that out a little bit. I'm actually going to add some chili flake and fennel seed here just to kind of like pull out fennel flavor in the sausage itself. I'm going to add some red onions.
Growing up, a typical Sunday was someone, my mom or my grandparents, making Sunday gravy.
San Marzano DOP tomatoes. It's the type of tomato that we prefer.
When they did make it, it was a big undertaking and the house smelled wonderful all day. You'd kind of wake up in the morning to the house already smelling, you know?
Yeah, you know what day of the week it is.
Angie and I love on our days off to eat red sauce, and we've been taking our son to try and go and eat red sauce. Some of our favorite places to go, I would say, would be Don Pepe, obviously, Michael's of Brooklyn. Balancing our life is, is definitely a challenge at times because we have a 4-year-old son.
I think it works really well because much like in our work life, we just like kind of switch off and fill in gaps and like work really well together. So I think that also like bleeds into our home life. We really kind of like wearing different hats and,
yes.
Do the same with our son. So now we are going to assemble our dish. So just for good measure, we start with a little extra garlic. I'm gonna add a little oregano. This garlic has toasted. I'm gonna add in some of my Sunday sauce. These meatballs have roasted in the oven, so they kind of have like a nice browning on the outside. Just gonna add those in now, and now I can go ahead and drop the pasta.
The noodles only take about 1 minute to cook because they're fresh noodles.
Now I'm gonna finish this with a little bit of butter. Kind of smooths out the texture of it a little bit. I'm gonna hit it with some lemon juice. Okay, so I'm gonna finish this with a little fried breadcrumb on top. I added a little more pecorino, and then I'm just gonna garnish it with some basil, as well as some fennel fronds, just to kind of highlight the fennel sausage in there. And then just a little crack of pepper. And this is the meal that made us.
I'm really excited to dig in.
I mean, let's do it. Let's get in there.
It's got a good sound.
I could literally eat this like every day for the rest of my life, no problem.
Yep. This dish is so reminiscent of like when we first met because it really is like the quintessential Italian-American dish. Our relationship was built off of like the quintessential like, Italian-American like conversations and talking about like how we grew up and our families and stuff. I don't know, I don't think there's anything more defining than spaghetti and meatballs or pasta and meatballs.
It just like takes me back to, like every red sauce joint we've been to. So it's very nostalgic for me. It's kind of taking me back to that.
Last question. Who said I love you first? 3, 2, 1.
Wait, what'd you put?
Me?
No, I meant me. Oh yeah, me.
I meant me. I don't know.